guys, Cameron with CBM Reviews here, and I want to talk spoilers. Thanos, my silence is broken. I want to talk about Avengers Infinity War. So the first thing I want to talk about is the story. Now, before I continue, a couple of things. Number one, this is a spoiler review. I will be spoiling the crap out of all of the things that I can think of, not of every single aspect, but if you do not want to know what happens in this movie, stop right now, come back after you've watched the film. You're going to want to enjoy this in the theater. You're going to want to enjoy this and not me telling you what's about to happen. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that if you want to watch other reviews that I do like this, where I tell about the story and kind of how things progress, go ahead and click that subscribe button. And if you really don't want to miss anything, click that notification bell so you'll be notified every single time that I post a video. So, having said that, let's talk. This movie, Avengers Infinity War, is a culmination of what has happened in Phase 3, with the falling out between Tony and Steve in Civil War, the introduction of Doctor Strange, Black Panther, and Spider-Man. You've got the Guardians, the things that they go with through there, and then you've got Thor Ragnarok, which literally leads right into Infinity War. This is, if you've been watching Phase 3, you know what's up. So, at the very beginning, Thanos is on the ship that the Asgardians were trying to escape. And Thanos is going after the Space Stone, which, if you watched my Thor Ragnarok review, you understand that Loki kind of snuck out of Odin's secret stash. That's what I called it in the video, so I might as well keep the continuity going. He has killed half of the Asgardians. We don't know what happens to the other half. We may find out in the next Avengers movie. Thanos tortures Thor in order to get Loki to give him the Space Stone, which he does. Heimdall needs somebody to warn Earth about what's going on, and so he sends the Hulk back to Earth. Thanos is like, that was a mistake, and kills Heimdall. Death number one. He equips it on his glove. He already has the Power Stone. That's one flaw that I have, is that they didn't show Thanos going after the Power Stone on Xandar. After he collects the stone, Loki pledges his undying allegiance to Thanos and tries to backstab him, or maybe front stab him, and Thanos is like, you said undying? You should pick your words more carefully, and chokes Loki and breaks his neck, and Loki dies. Death 2. Blows the ship up, but Thor, even though he's on the ship, does not die. He's just kind of like in a somewhat comatose state, floating out in space. They were sending out distress signals, and eventually they will reach the Milano, which of course is the ship of the Guardians of the Galaxy. But let's go to Earth, where the Hulk has been jettisoned. He crashes in the Sanctum Sanctorum with Wong and Doctor Strange, and the Hulk, or actually turns into Banner, warns them about Thanos coming to get the stones. Doctor Strange understands that the best way that they can combat this upcoming threat is to get Tony Stark on board, so they tell Tony about everything that's going on, and then the Black Order comes. Now, let me tell you about the Black Order real quick, and in all honesty, I'm going to gloss over 3 and tell you about 1. The Black Order is comprised of 4 members: Proxima Midnight, Corvus Glaive, Cull Obsidian, and Ebony Maw. In all honesty, most of them don't really make any kind of impression, but one definitely does, and that's Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw, if the Black Order was like the OG Destiny's Child, Ebony Maw is Beyonce. He's a diva, and he knows it, and everybody else is just a backup singer. He like has these grandiose speeches, and he just does the most. So Ebony Maw is a diva. But anyway, Ebony Maw and Cull Obsidian have come to New York to announce that Thanos is coming and you should be rejoicing, and Tony's like, Earth is closed today. They also are going after the Time Stone, which is around Doctor Strange's neck. There's a fight that ensues, and the Hulk doesn't want to come out. Something has happened, and Bruce is now not in the fighting mood. Tony shows off his new nanotech, and as I said, the fight is ensuing. Doctor Strange is going at it with Ebony Maw, and Cull Obsidian is going at it against Iron Man. All of a sudden, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man shows up to kind of even the tide against Cull Obsidian, And during the fight between Doctor Strange and Ebony Maw, he renders Doctor Strange unconscious and he gets beamed up into the ship. Spider-Man has got to stop the wizard from getting beamed up, and so he actually stows away up on the ship. Tony flies after them and equips Spider-Man with the Iron Spider suit. And this was not a huge big detail that I really need to talk about, but it gives him some more capabilities that we've seen in the comics during the Civil War story. They are stowed away on the ship to save Doctor Strange and make sure that the Black Order, really Ebony Maw, doesn't get the Time Stone to give to Thanos. There's been a little love affair going on between Scarlet Witch and Vision, and they're in Scotland and they're trying to enjoy some time away when all of a sudden Proxima Midnight and Corvus Glaive show up to blindside Scarlet Witch and Vision because the Vision has the Mind Stone in his head, and they are attacking him, and they're actually doing a really good job until the cavalry arrives, and the cavalry is comprised of Steve Rogers, Sam Wilson, and Natasha Romanoff. Yes, that's right, Captain America, Falcon, and Black Widow come, and they show up, and they kick their butts. It was great. The Black Order retreat, and they go to figure out exactly what's going on with Vision. They meet back up at Avengers compound, meet up with Rhodey, who is, you know, moving a whole lot better, but he still needs that harness, and they have to figure out what to do next because Vision is damaged, and they need to try to get the stone out of his head without damaging Vision himself. And since Tony's not exactly on Earth right now, they say our best bet is Wakanda. Oh, I can't do that. That's Black Nerd's thing. I'm sorry, Andre. That's your thing. They go to Wakanda to try and talk with Shuri as far as getting the stone out of Vision's head. And also, they figured that a fight is coming, so they're going to have the troops ready. Bucky is also in Wakanda right now, as you see in an end credit scene from Civil War and from Black Panther. And so they're getting ready for the fight. Let's go back to space. The Guardians show up following the distress signal, and when they get to where the distress signals come from, they find nothing but ruins and bodies flying out in space, and they're horrified until a body hits the windshield, and it's Thor, and then his eye opens, and oh my gosh, how is this dude still alive? And Drax is like, that is not a dude, you're a dude, this is a man. And it's just like, oh, Drax is, okay, that's cool, you know, you do you, Drax. Anyway, they wake him up, and Thor, you know, tells him about what happens. It's like, it's Thanos, and Gamora's like, I know Thanos, that's my father. And you know, they kind of have a moment, and Thor's like, you know, I need a weapon in order to fight Thanos. I'm going to go to Nidavellir, which is one of the realms which the dwarves live on, and they are the smiths. They make weapons for all of the 9 realms, but specifically for Asgard, they make god-wielding weapons, just like Mjolnir. And so Rocket and Groot decide they're going to go to Nidavellir with Thor, while the Guardians go to nowhere because they figure that's where Thanos is heading next to get the Reality Stone out of the Collector's collection. They get to nowhere, and it looks like Thanos is torturing the Collector to try to get the Reality Stone, and Gamora charges in, and it looks like she kills him, but it's a version of reality because Thanos already has the Reality Stone. And he decides, I need to have a talk with you, Gamora, because as I said, Gamora is the daughter of Thanos. He takes her away. The Guardians have to regroup and figure out where to go next because they really don't have any leads. And Thanos takes Gamora back and says, you know where the Soul Stone is, and you lied to me about it. He's captured Nebula and is torturing Nebula to the point to where he's like, if you don't tell me where this Soul Stone is, your sister will endure nothing but pain for the remainder of her useless life. After a few screams, Gamora says it's on Vormir, which is this planet we've never been to at this point, and he's like, show me. They go to Vormir, they go up to the spot where you have to get the stone, and this very ominous figure is telling, you know, he knows who they are, and he's like, I know why you come for the Soul Stone. And they get a look, you know, we get a look at his face, and oh my goodness, it's the Red Skull. That's right, Red Skull from Captain America, the First Avenger. He didn't die in that, but I already figured that he didn't die. He was transported to be pretty much the Overkeeper of the Soul Stone. And in order to get the Soul Stone, the person who wants it has to sacrifice a life or a soul to get the Soul Stone. And not just any life, it has to be somebody that they love. And Gamora is kind of laughing because she's like, you can never get it because you don't love anybody. But what we find out is that Gamora was his favorite, and he grabs her hand and chunks her off the cliff. Death number 3. He awakens after this whole visual spectacle, and he's got the Soul Stone in his hand, and so now he's got the power, space, reality, and Soul Stone, and it's time to go get the Time Stone. Tony, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange were in the ship. They actually were able to get Ebony Maw sucked out of the ship on the way to Titan, because that's where Thanos wanted them to all meet him at, and they decide to take the fight to Thanos, and so they're heading to Titan. At the same time, Nebula, who was still captured on Thanos' ship, was able to break off, and she tells the Guardians, meet me at Titan, because that's where they're going. So now Nebula, the Guardians, and Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Peter are heading to Titan. While they're waiting for Thanos, Doctor Strange uses the Eye of Agamotto, or the Time Stone, to look into the future to see how they can beat Thanos. And Doctor Strange is looking, and he says, I looked into the future and I saw 14,609 possible realities, and in only one do they succeed. And Thanos shows up, and he realizes, where are my Black Order? And they have a huge fight. Now there's a fight beforehand, but I'm talking about Thanos here. The fight ensues, and it looks like they're about to get the glove off, but Peter Quill finds out that Gamora has been killed, and he loses his crap. He botches the plan, and then Thanos is like, alright, I'm gonna have to start killing people. And he doesn't kill anybody, but he does throw a large moon. And that was an awesome scene. Tony Stark gets stabbed in the abdomen by Thanos, and he's about to kill Tony when Doctor Strange says, wait, if you spare his life, I'll give you the Time Stone. Thanos is like, no tricks. Doctor Strange hands over the Time Stone. Boom. Now he's got 5 stones. We have to go back to Thor, Rocket, and Groot because they were going to Nidavellir. They head there and they realize something's wrong. The Forge has died out. It uses the power of a neutron star or a dwarf star or something like that. And they get everything started up, and the dwarf, who's played by Peter Dinklage, has the mold for a weapon that's supposed to be able to kill Thanos, and it's called the Stormbreaker. Through a series of events which I felt like was a little bit superfluous, they get the mold done, and Thor gets his weapon, and now he is back to full strength. In fact, I think he's leveled up. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Proxima Midnight, Cull Obsidian, and Corvus Glaive have reconvened on Wakanda, and they brought themselves a pretty nasty little army. So now you've got the forces of Wakanda, the Dora Milaje, the Jabari tribe, with M'Baku leading the fray, along with Captain America, Falcon, War Machine, Bruce Banner in a Hulkbuster, and it's a huge mess of a fight. And it looks as if things are not going very well, and then Thor uses his new hammer to Bifrost their way back into the fight in Earth. So now he is back at full health. He is just laying waste. It is amazing. The theater cheered. I was happy. I was like, because, you know, I'd be quiet in the movies. Corvus Glaive tries to be all sneaky and get the stone out of Vision's forehead, and they fight. Corvus Glaive gets killed by Vision. Proxima Midnight gets killed by Scarlet Witch, or technically one of the machines that they brought to fight, but Scarlet Witch kind of put her up there. And Cull Obsidian gets killed by Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster costume. So now, with Ebony Maw having died beforehand, the Black Order is no more. And so now the forces are decimated, but Thanos is coming for the stone, and everybody's trying to fight him, but he's got all these fantastic powers and they can't do anything about it. Scarlet Witch blows up Vision's stone that's in his forehead, but Thanos uses the Time Stone to reverse time, put it back together, and takes it. Vision, death number 4. Boom! He's got all 6 stones in the gauntlet. And Thor ain't having it. Thor comes down, Thor throws the Stormbreaker at Thanos, and this is kind of important. Thanos uses the gauntlet to shoot a beam But the hammer goes through the beam and hits him right in the chest. And Thor is just like, I told you. I told you. And Thanos is just like, you should have gone for the head. And he snaps his fingers. And this is what everything that I just mentioned was leading up to. He snapped half of the population of the universe out of existence. Who gets snapped? Bucky Barnes, gone. Sam Wilson, gone. Black Panther, T'Challa, gone. Scarlet Witch, gone. Groot is gone. And let's not forget, there are heroes on Titan as well. Mantis, gone. Drax, gone. Star-Lord, gone. Doctor Strange, gone. Spider-Man, gone. And at the end of the movie, Thanos goes away to sit down and enjoy a grateful universe that no longer has to worry about using finite resources to feed and clothe the people inhabiting it. And he feels like he's been merciful. And so now this leaves a handful of people to go after Thanos. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Bruce Banner, Black Widow, War Machine, Rocket, Nebula, and Okoye. And that's how the movie ends. So what does this all come to now? I've told you the story and I went through everything as quickly as I could because I didn't want to miss anything. This story is great. I love a lot of the scenes, and the fight scenes almost take a backseat to like what's really going on. How Thanos sacrifices Gamora just to get, to meet his goal of saving the universe in his own opinion. I love the interactions that Thor has with the Guardians. I love the clashing or the butting of heads that Doctor Strange has with Tony Stark, because they both think that they have the best ideas in mind. And let's talk about the best characters. There are 3 best characters in this. The 3rd best character, in my opinion, is Thor. Ragnarok just really got him right. And this one polishes the character. Even though you kind of see him at some of his lowest, he raises the bar and he comes back swinging, like quite literally. The 2nd best character, in my opinion, is Spider-Man. The heart on this character, Tom Holland, you got it. Back when I released my Spider-Man Homecoming review, I said that even though I was apprehensive at first, this is the best Spider-Man we've ever seen. This just hammers home how right that statement was. He hit the nail perfectly, which makes what happens at the end so gut-wrenching, because people were already upset whenever they saw Groot die and Star-Lord die and Doctor Strange. But when it gets to Spider-Man, oh my gosh, what a wonderful scene. And then, of course, the #1 character in this, the character that we see more than any other character, is Thanos. Thanos is the big bad of the MCU. He proves it in this movie, and he doesn't just go about the bad guy beats, step 1, step 2, step 3, but you actually see him empathize with the people that he's going up against. He doesn't just hate for hate's sake. He's not just destroying for destroying's sake. He has an end goal in mind, and that end goal is his warped mentality of salvation. But the fact that they made him much more than just some mindless, strong, bad guy, and they give him personality, and they give him purpose, and they give him meaning, and they give him layers, and it's just wonderful how they did this. Now, there are some bad things about this movie, like, as I said before earlier, that you have to watch phase 3, like each step, in order to know exactly what's going on here. And that I would love to say that this movie is for casual moviegoers, but unfortunately you actually have to keep abreast as to what's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe to know exactly what's going on and to not be lost. Two other things that I don't like, and they kind of contradict each other, but you'll get what I'm saying, is that it wasn't long enough. And what I mean by that is that I wanted to see Thanos take the Black Order and get the stone on Xandar. I wanted to see the Black Order actually succeed. That would have been great. We actually see them fail over and over and over again. Even Maul, when he abducts Doctor Strange, ends up failing when it comes down to it. And it would have been nice to have a scene where the Black Order is actually seen as this formidable force, where they actually decimate all of the Nova Corps on Xandar. That was an omission that we needed. Also, I would have loved to have seen a little bit more backstory with Gamora. Maybe not when she was a child, but maybe some points where she's like a teenager and she's training and Thanos is grooming her to be the most dangerous woman in the universe, and just see her spitefulness and hatefulness against Thanos. I would have loved to have been shown that rather than told that in that one scene. And this is the part where I say this contradicts. I wish there were some side quests that weren't in there. Case in point, the side quest on Nidavellir. I felt like the Forge being out, it wasn't needed. I didn't need to see that quest. I know Thor is strong. He survived in space for X amount of time. The question of, is he strong is not up for debate. And so I feel like the whole, him starting the Forge and holding the Forge open and getting blasted with the pure power of the sun and not dying, I'm not surprised. That doesn't surprise me, and so I feel like that scene is a lot of places. Those are the things that I wanted to hit on. Everybody did a great job. I wish I could have seen more Hulk, but I understand that they're probably saving something for the next movie. So after all this has been said and done, what is the grade? The grade that I give is a 93. This has spectacular visuals. This has excellent direction, especially when you're dealing with a cast this large. And the acting is superb. I didn't find any flaws in it, especially with, Chris Hemsworth's performance, Tom Holland's performance, Benedict Cumberbatch's. I really can't wait to see what they're going to do with the follow-up, because this is only a half a movie. But if the midterm grade is this, I am ready to see what this final exam brings. So that is my spoiler review of Avengers Infinity War. What did you guys think about the movie? You guys let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, and if you're new here, subscribe. Share this video with all your friends, but only if they've seen the movie. And as always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. We'll see you next time.